So John, what fertilizers do native plants need?
It's a really good question, Michael. What fertilizers do native plants need? Well, most of the time they don't need any. You know, native plants are planted in native soil, and so they have evolved together for, you know, a millennium. And you know, the biggest problem that I see people do is that they feel they have to do something. They feel like, well, I need to fertilize. This plant isn't doing as well as I wanted it to, so let me do some fertilizing. Well, for example, if you fertilized mountain mint, it would all just flop. It would grow really tall and it would just flop over because it's not supposed to do that. Little blue stem is one of my favorite grasses to use in the landscape. And unfortunately, it's the same kind of thing. If you fertilize it, it just falls over, loses all the good effects that you have to it. So stay away from fertilizers as much as you can. The Masters Gardeners Association will test your soil if you have a fear that you're missing something. So before you just kind of willy-nilly add fertilizers to a garden, make sure you actually need them, because most of the time with native plants you don't. So along with that, you know, I always say right plant for the right place. And so that means you come out to the site, you do an evaluation, and you say, okay, we're on a sunny slope. The soil stays fairly moist here for a slope. And so what kind of plant is going to fit into that category? And so if you get the right plant in the right place, again, you shouldn't need any fertilizers. The other thing that gardeners do a lot of times is they'll prep the soil. And, you know, I'm not going to tell you don't prep the soil, but you don't have to. This was all planted with just digging holes and doing a little bit of soil prep per hole. We put a little bit of leaf mulch into each hole, and that gets the plant a little bit of a start, because a lot of these plants come from nurseries where they're grown in perfect soil, and then we bring them out here and we put them into dirt, and they kind of go, hey, well, what are you doing? You know, so we give them a little bit of leaf mulch to kind of help them get established, and then go from there. We try and keep this mulched. We typically will use leaf mulch. This has double shredded oak bark mulch on it. Because of the invasive species, we were trying to use the mulch as kind of a deterrent for that. But in general, I recommend people just use leaf mulch. Oak bark mulch means that, well, some oak just lost its life. Leaf mulch means that the county collected a bunch of leaves, took them to a place, composted them, and it's basically really good soil that you're putting down on your land, and it breaks down really quickly. And so if you really want to improve your soil, use leaf mulch rather than oak bark mulch.